I asked a priest not spare my life.
Dracula is one of the most enduring legends in the history of cinema and literature, a figure who represents both terror and temptation. The 2025 film version seeks not only to revive the story, but to redefine it for a new generation. In a world saturated with reboots and remakes, this particular project takes a bold step by combining classic Gothic horror with modern filmmaking technology, immersing audiences into a chilling yet seductive nightmare. Every frame has been designed to reflect both the romance of Victorian storytelling and the visceral fear of 21st century horror. The upcoming release has already created enormous anticipation among fans of the supernatural and lovers of cinematic artistry. The film opens its journey through atmosphere, crafting an environment that mirrors the themes of the story. The castles, graveyards, dark forests, and eerie candlelit corridors are all brought to life with immaculate attention to detail. This Dracula is not a mere monster to be destroyed, but a complex antihero, a tragic figure burdened with immortality and cursed with desires that can never be fully satisfied. The cinematic approach presents Dracula as both predator and prisoner, which makes the audience question whether to fear him, pity him, or perhaps even admire him. The casting has elevated excitement surrounding this movie. Taking on the mantle of Count Dracula is a celebrated actor known for balancing charm with menace, giving the character the elegance required to embody a Gothic aristocrat and the terror of a supernatural predator. Alongside him, the film introduces a talented ensemble who bring to life iconic characters like Jonathan Harker, Mina Murray, Lucy Westenra, and Professor Van Helsing. Each role has been carefully chosen not simply for star power, but for the authenticity and emotional depth that the performers deliver. The chemistry between Dracula and his victims, between the hunters and the hunted, is central to the narrative, and this cast manages to strike the perfect tone. The plot of Dracula 2025 follows the roots of Bram Stoker's original masterpiece while introducing fresh layers of psychological depth. It begins with Jonathan Harker, a young solicitor, traveling to Transylvania to assist with a property deal. His journey through the Carpathian Mountains is presented in breathtaking visuals, landscapes filled with fog, howling wolves, and shadowy figures that watch from the distance. When he arrives at Castle Dracula, the ancient fortress looms with a menacing presence, a character of its own. Inside its walls, he meets the Count, a host of unsettling charm who soon reveals his sinister intentions. As the story progresses, the narrative shifts to London, where Dracula arrives under the cover of night, bringing with him a tide of darkness. His hunger for blood becomes a series of chilling encounters, beginning with Lucy Westenra, whose slow descent into vampirism is portrayed in haunting detail. Mina Murray, whose love and resilience are central to the film, becomes both his temptation and his torment. The tension between her devotion to Jonathan and the magnetic pull of Dracula creates some of the most emotionally powerful sequences in the film. Meanwhile, Van Helsing emerges as the determined adversary, combining wisdom, faith, and courage to confront the evil that threatens to engulf them all. What makes the 2025 version unique is its blending of horror with tragedy. Dracula is depicted not merely as a monster, but as a man cursed with eternal loneliness, haunted by the memory of a lost love. His pursuit of Mina is not only driven by hunger, but by a desperate attempt to find solace in someone who resembles the woman he lost centuries ago. This layered portrayal gives the audience moments of sympathy for him, even as he unleashes terror upon innocents. It is this balance between fear and sorrow that makes the film resonate beyond its scares. Visually, the film makes full use of cutting-edge technology. Filmed in 4K Ultra with enhanced sound design, every moment is crafted to pull audiences deeper into the Gothic nightmare. Shadows stretch across the walls with lifelike intensity. The sound of a bat's wings beating against the night air feels unsettlingly real, and the whisper of Dracula's voice echoes as though he were standing just behind the audience. These choices are not gimmicks, but immersive techniques designed to honor the Gothic tradition while giving it new life. The packing of the plot builds steadily. The first act establishes mystery and unease. The second act intensifies with Dracula's reign of terror in London, and the final act explodes into a relentless pursuit culminating in a dramatic confrontation. The hunters chase Dracula back to his castle, where the final showdown takes place amidst fire, blood, and despair. The ending leaves viewers shaken, satisfied, yet reflective of the curse of immortality and the cost of human resistance against darkness. The cast deserves special attention. The actor portraying Dracula combines regal posture with subtle menace, creating a character who can be mesmerizing with a smile yet terrifying with a sudden shift in expression. Jonathan Harker is played with youthful determination, his vulnerability making him relatable while his courage grows throughout the film. Mina Murray emerges as the emotional core, played with both gentleness and strength, her arc representing the resilience of human spirit. Lucy Westenra is tragic and captivating, her transformation into a vampire one of the film's most memorable and terrifying sequences. Van Helsing stands as a beacon of conviction, a figure whose commanding presence provides balance to Dracula's overwhelming darkness. The release date has been carefully chosen to align with the Halloween season of 2025, ensuring that the film becomes an event in itself. This strategic timing allows Dracula to dominate the cultural conversation during the spookiest time of year. Anticipation is already building as audiences prepare for a cinematic experience that merges the Gothic atmosphere of classic horror with the high-octane suspense of modern thrillers. The official trailer has already provided audiences with a glimpse of the nightmare to come. Opening with the sound of howling wolves under a blood-red moon, the trailer shows quick cuts of Jonathan entering the castle, the Count's shadow falling across the wall, and Mina staring into Dracula's eyes as though hypnotized. The visuals are layered with tension, showing flashes of Lucy's haunting transformation, Van Helsing raising a crucifix in defiance, and Dracula himself emerging from a coffin with piercing eyes that glow in the darkness. The trailer crescendos with the sound of Dracula whispering, "You cannot destroy what death has already claimed," before cutting to the title card. Every aspect of the trailer emphasizes scale, fear, and allure. The atmosphere is drenched in Gothic horror, yet balanced with sweeping cinematic shots that highlight the grandeur of the settings. London's fog-drenched streets, the candle-lit interiors of castles, and the terrifying silence of crypts form the backdrop for a story that is as much about the human soul as it is about supernatural power. The audience is left desperate for more, counting down the days until the full release. The legacy of Dracula has always been its ability to adapt to the fears and desires of each generation, and the 2025 film is no exception. It reintroduces the Count as a timeless figure while giving him relevance in today's cinematic landscape. Horror, romance, tragedy, and spectacle blend into one unforgettable journey. By the time the credits roll, audiences will feel they have walked through shadows, faced their deepest fears, and been seduced by the allure of eternal night. Dracula 2025 is not just another vampire movie. It is a reimagining of one of literature's most enduring characters. With a powerful cast, an emotionally complex narrative, breathtaking visuals, and a release date perfectly aligned with the spirit of the season, it promises to be one of the most defining cinematic experiences of the year. The trailer has set the stage, and now the full film prepares to deliver a haunting tale that will linger long after the final scene fades to black.